There's a new kind of war unfolding right now. No bombs, no soldiers, no borders. Yet the outcome will decide who gets to define humanity's future. This is the AI war, the race for artificial intelligence supremacy between two titans, the United States and China. In the West, Nvidia reigns supreme, the maker of the world's most advanced chips, the brains that train AI models to think, create, and predict. In the East, China, banned, isolated, restricted, is finding its own way forward, not by having the best chips, but by building the biggest networks, the cheapest energy, and the most relentless willpower. When America shut the door, China didn't beg to be let in. It simply built another door. Not long ago, Huawei was considered finished. Crippled by U.S. sanctions, cut off from global supply chains, it was supposed to fade away, but instead, it became a national symbol of resilience. And now, it's the spearhead of China's AI ambitions. Huawei's Ascend 910C chips are not as powerful as Nvidia's GPUs, but Huawei plays a different game. Instead of one mighty chip, it connects hundreds, even thousands, of smaller ones into massive AI clusters. Their latest creation, the Cloud Matrix 384, links 384 Ascend chips to rival Nvidia's GB200 system, which uses just 72 GPUs. It's brute force by design, a many over mighty philosophy. If Nvidia is a superhero, Huawei is an army of disciplined soldiers marching in perfect sync. That's China's secret weapon. Not perfection, but coordination. They don't need the world's best chip. They just need a million good enough ones, working together toward one goal. But there's a catch. Connecting so many chips consumes enormous amounts of power. For most countries, that's a deal breaker. But not for China. China has cheap energy, lots of it. Over the past decade, Beijing has poured trillions into solar farms, wind fields, hydropower, and nuclear plants. While the West debates climate policy, China has quietly built the world's largest clean energy grid. And now it's fueling the AI revolution. Local governments in cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen offer electricity subsidies and compute vouchers to companies that use domestic chips. In some provinces, data centers running on Huawei hardware get their power bills cut in half. So while the US worries about the cost of every kilowatt hour, China just keeps scaling. More clusters, more servers, more training runs, because in the end, AI is not just about computation, it's about energy. And China's got plenty. But even the most ambitious strategy has its limits. Huawei doesn't make its own chips. It depends on SMIC, China's largest semiconductor foundry. And here lies the bottleneck. SMIC can produce chips at 7 nanometers, while Taiwan's TSMC is already at 3 nanometers. And soon, too, that's not a small gap. It's a chasm. Why? Because SMIC can't buy the world's most advanced lithography machines from the Dutch company ASML. Machines that use extreme ultraviolet light to etch transistors at the atomic level. The US and its allies made sure of that. So SMIC has to reverse engineer chips using outdated tools, like trying to paint a masterpiece with a broken brush. The result? Huawei's chips are less efficient, more power-hungry, and costly to make. But somehow they're still good enough to feed the clusters and keep the dream alive. China knows it can't outpace Nvidia overnight, so it's playing the long game. Instead of chasing America's tail, Beijing is building its own ecosystem, a vertically integrated AI supply chain, from energy and hardware to models and applications. Billions are flowing into national data centers, AI research hubs, and chip startups. Every city wants to become the next Shenzhen. Every university wants to train the next AI pioneer. It's no longer a battle between companies, it's a battle between systems. The US bets on free market innovation. China bets on centralized mobilization. Two models, two philosophies, both racing toward the same finish line. Control of the digital future. Step back for a moment. What does this all really mean? The AI race is not just about technology. It's about identity, how nations see themselves, and what they believe progress should serve. In America, AI is seen as the tool of freedom, a way to amplify creativity, to empower the individual. In China, AI is the shield of sovereignty, a way to protect the nation from external dominance. Both are right, and both are dangerous. Because AI doesn't just mirror intelligence, it mirrors intention, and what we build will ultimately reflect who we are. So when we look at China's vast clusters and America's sleek GPUs, we're not just comparing machines. We're comparing visions of the future. One seeks supremacy, the other survival. For now, Nvidia leads. Its chips are faster, smaller, and more efficient. But Huawei is catching up not in technology, but in tenacity. Every data center China builds, every chip SMIC produces, every watt of solar power that feeds its AI, is one more step toward independence. This is no longer just about catching up. It's about proving that no one can stop a nation once it decides to stand on its own. The AI war won't end with one winner. It will reshape the map of power, just as the steam engine once did, and the internet after it. And maybe one day, we'll look back and realize this wasn't a story about chips at all. It was a story about human will. Because sometimes the most powerful machine isn't made of silicon. It's made of determination. This is not just the story of Huawei and Nvidia. It's the story of how the world's two greatest powers are trying to program not just their machines, but their destinies.